Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Goosebumps Guy here with a brand new video. No, it's been a while since I posted, but here I am. I'm here now, so that all doesn't matter. As you can read by the title, it's the top 10 weirdest twist endings. You guys have been asking this one for a long time. Do you guys remember Where's Waldo? I want to show you guys this. I found this on the internet. Take that in. It's like a Goosebumps Where's Waldo. I'm not sure if it's Goosebumps or not, but there's lawn gnomes in there. There's a lot of Goosebumps creatures. So if you guys want to take a moment and pause that and see what Goosebumps monsters you can find, that'd be awesome. I don't know, I just found it really cool, so I thought I'd show you guys. But yeah, enough of I Spy. Let's get right into this top 10. This video is going to be full of spoilers, as you can see by the title. Hope you guys enjoy. The number 10 spot goes to the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom is straight cuckoo. Alright guys, I know my puns are horrible. I'll try not to do that in the future. Yeah, so this story is about a boy named Mike, and pretty much he's time traveling, but he's not time traveling to the future. He's time traveling in the past, and whilst he's time traveling in the past, let's say he's 11 years old, when he goes 10 years in the past, his 10-year-old body turns into a baby, so he has the mind of an adult but the body of a baby by the end of the book because of all of his time traveling. And he's stuck in this like wormhole or like string theory time paradox thing, and it doesn't make that much sense. It's like Back to the Future, but he's going back in time and he just keeps going. And by the end of the book, he comes back, everything's normal. He doesn't want anything to do with the clock, but the real twist, and this is the reason why I made it onto this list, is he erased his sister from time. His sister doesn't exist anymore once he gets back to the future and restores everything. Well, he doesn't really restore it, but he gets back without a sister. And he seems a little bit happy about it, a little bit too happy about it. It's kind of creepy how happy he sounds about it. But yeah, some of us don't like our siblings. You know, we have older brothers, older sisters, younger brothers, younger sisters that we sometimes hate, but I don't think anybody would want their sister or brother to be erased from time. That is horrible, and that is such a scary thought. Just imagine your brother or your sister just totally disappearing from existence, and when you ask your parents, where's Bob? They don't even know who Bob is. They're so confused. They don't know they ever had a kid Bob. Bob has never existed. So now you gotta go back in time and not screw things up even more. So yeah, twist ending is like a 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. It's up there. It's pretty crazy. Taking the number 9 spot is My Best Friend is Invisible. My Best Friend is Invisible. This book is very, very insane. And it's to the point where the ending of the book totally blows your mind, but you could say that about almost all L Stine books, but this one just takes it a step further of blowing your mind to the moon instead of just blowing your mind. So yes, so I actually haven't read this book in years. I read it when I was a kid. I went to the library, I picked it up, I read it, and I returned it, and I still to this day don't own a copy of it for some reason. I might own a copy, I just haven't seen it, but I don't think I own a copy of this book. And I need to get a copy of this book. So the plot is, let's keep this short and simple. Sammy's being haunted by a creature who he thinks is a ghost. Weird stuff's happening. You can see in the cover art, the pizza, the floating pizza. The cat's all scared with the scared expression on his face. But what really interests me in this book, and the reason why I'm making this top 10, is for the weird twist ending. And that weird twist ending is, hold up, wait for it, prepare yourself, your head's gonna be blown off to the moon. The ghost is actually an invisible human who reveals his mom made him invisible because he's so hideous looking. Take that in. Isn't that crazy? But wait, there's more. It turns out all the main characters, including Sammy, his mom, and his friends, all have tentacles and multiple eyes. And in the universe in which the book is set, humans are actually an endangered species. How insane is that? That twist ending ruined me. Yeah, so you can definitely understand why this one would make it onto my top 10 weirdest twist endings, because that is just so weird. Alright, on to the next one. The Girl Who Cried Monster takes number 8. I actually spoke about this book in my top 10 weakest Goosebumps monsters video. You should definitely check that one out. This book is about a girl named Lucy, and in the synopsis it's like, oh yeah, she's a normal girl. She's in a summer reading program, and she figures out during this program that her librarian is a monster. So she's trying to tell people that this is happening, crazy stuff's happening at the library. She sees them eating bugs, as you can see on the cover. She sees them doing weird stuff, and she tells their parents a few times, and then they finally believe her. So they invite the librarian over for dinner, and this is where the real twist comes. They invite the monster over for dinner, and then all of a sudden, Lucy's parents turn into monsters. They are monsters in disguise of humans, just like the librarian, and they eat the librarian. So it's really crazy. It's just crazy because the whole time you're reading the story, just like the last story, you think you're reading about humans, people like me and you. But then the twist at the end is like, oh no, these people you're reading about the whole time were monsters. They're hideous monsters that eat people and do crazy things to humans. So, and other monsters. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy twist ending. These are some of the ones that blow my mind the most, when you really think you're reading about someone like you and me, like you think you're reading about a normal girl, and it turns out that she's a monster. It just really blows your mind. You might say a few more on this list, you may not, but let's get to the next one. Number 7 goes to The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam is one of my all-time favorite Goosebumps books. You should check out my top 10 Goosebumps books to see why it's one of my favorite Goosebumps books. So, this story starts off with Wendy and her little brother Elliot. They're driving up a hill. They're in a trailer. Their parents are driving. The car's pulling the trailer. The trailer detaches. They start sliding down the hill. Their parents don't notice. Typical Goosebumps parents. They just never notice, and half the time they don't even care. So yeah, they start rolling down the hill. They end up in a camp. You've seen the guy in the cover. His name's Buddy. He takes them in. He's like, oh yeah, we'll find your parents. You guys can spend time at the camp while you're waiting for your parents. And just like every other Goosebumps book, odd things start happening. And just like every camp Goosebumps book, kids start disappearing one after the other. At the very end of the book, we come up to the twist ending. And the twist ending is these kids are being enslaved to clean this giant jelly jam creature named King Jelly Jam. And he's like a giant glob of jello made into a monster, and if they stop cleaning him, he dies. But they don't want to stop cleaning him because they're being forced to by the counselors and the monster itself, so it's pretty scary. They didn't want to. And the reason why this made it onto my list is because when I was a kid, I read this title, The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam, and I immediately thought to one of the other books that I owned, the Purple Peanut Butter or whatever, and that's a Choose Your Own Adventure book. It's near number 6. It's one of the first Choose Your Own Adventure books, and I thought it had to do with like peanut butter and jelly, but it has nothing to do with peanut butter and jelly. It has to do with a jelly monster that's enslaving kids. So crazy twist ending. Let's get on to the next one. He's a lot like King Jelly Jam. Number 6 goes to The Blob That Ate Everyone. The Blob That Ate Everyone is L Stine's version of The Blob, which came out in 1958 in September. And what I love about L Stine and his adaptations is the way he does a complete 180 and he makes the book his own. He doesn't copy it and make it like a child-friendly version. He takes a few ideas from the movie or story. He completely makes it his own, and it's a completely different story. You wouldn't be able to tell they're the same thing other than the monster or the name, the girl who cried monster, the boy who cried wolf, you know? So he's really good at making these adaptations, but let's get to the story. It's about a boy named Zach. He wants to be a horror writer, just like R.L. Stine, and he finds a typewriter in an abandoned, burnt-down building. The person there says take it, or he steals it, one of the two. You know, Goosebumps kids, they steal everything these days. So yeah, he takes it, and everything he starts writing on this magical typewriter becomes true. He's writing about a blob monster that destroys the whole city, or whole town, and like I said, it becomes true, because whatever he writes becomes true. And get prepared for this one. The ending's a bit hard to explain, because L Stine really outdid himself this time. This one's kind of crazy. So it turns out the whole story was actually written by the Blob Monster. The book ends with the Blob Monster discussing the story with his blob friends at school. So it's extremely weird. The Blob Monster that wrote the story, he hates humans, he thinks they're disgusting. The Blob Monster thinks humans are monsters. So it's a crazy turn of events where the Blob Monsters are living like humans and humans are the monsters in the R.L. Stine universe, or in the Goosebumps universe. Crazy twist ending, blew my mind, and that's why it made it so high onto this list. Taking up the number 5 spot is A Shocker on Shock Street. A shocker on Shock Street is a shock indeed. Ha ha. That was so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. In a nutshell, it's a story about two kids. Their dad works for people that make movies. There's a new movie roller coaster coming out that takes you through the movie set and where the movies take place. So these two kids are the first people ever to test out the ride. They get on the ride. They're going through. Oh, before they get on, their dad tells them never get out no matter what. Don't get out of the trams. The trams are kind of like roller coaster carts. That's what they're called. Roller coaster carts are tram carts. So they're the same thing. So if you hear me say trams, I mean roller coaster carts. They're seeing normal stuff from the movie sets. The tram stops, some monsters run up to them, they get autographs. It seems normal until the tram stops working. They get out of the tram and they start walking around. This is when the crazy stuff starts happening. They see the mantis, as you can see up top, from the Goosebumps movie, which came from A Shocker on Shock Street. That's where the original mantis came from. They see the mantis is chasing them around. They run into werewolf people. I guess werewolves are people, so they run into werewolves, they run into zombies, it's some ghosts, some whole bunch of crazy stuff's happening. But the twist is where it's crazy, because this book was already crazy, going through the whole book. Usually by the end of the book, the twist makes it even scarier and just blows your mind, but this one blows your mind, but it doesn't make it scarier. It makes it like, oh, this wasn't real. And the twist is that they are all robots. Not all of them. The two kids are robots, and their dad is using them as a prop in the new movie to see how robots work in movie sets and see if they could film with the robots now. So it's crazy and super weird. Taking a number 4 spot is The Barking Ghost. I honestly never found this book scary. I found it more hysterical than being funny. I don't know why. I think it was because of the ending. It's not as bad as Chicken Chicken. Let's throw that out the window, because Chicken Chicken is probably the worst Goosebumps book ever made. And if you like Chicken Chicken, I'm sorry to tell you, most of us hate it. But it's still a book we keep close to our hearts. But yeah, so this book's about Cooper. He moves to a new town in Maine, the suburbs, and he meets a girl named Fergie. They're friends, and then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but yeah, pretty much all of a sudden, they get haunted by ghost dogs. And it turns out these ghost dogs are actually human that have been transformed into dogs. So the dogs decide to transform Cooper and Fergie into dogs and take over their identity, so they don't have to be dogs anymore. Then Cooper and Fergie transform them back, but they accidentally get transformed into squirrels in the process. Yeah, that is a crazy twist ending. I don't know if I like it or not, but it's crazy and it's weird, so that's why I made it to this list. Stay Out of the Basement gets the number 3 spot. This whole book is weird. It's just mayhem. So the story's about a dad and 2 kids. This dad's a botanist. He works with flowers, and he recently got laid off of his job. So he decides to experiment in his basement, probably trying to find a way to get rich and to feed his family. So he comes up with a way to make a clone out of him that's a plant, as you can see above, but it doesn't really look like that. The clones actually look like humans, but they bleed green, they eat plant fertilizer, they grow leaves out of their head, but they look a lot like a human. So this plant clone tries to replace human dad and ties human dad up in the basement for a pretty long time. I'm not sure how he survived down there. And By the end of the book, the two main characters, the brother and sister, they figure out which one is the real dad and which one's the fake, and they destroy the plant dad. But here's the twist. This is such a weird twist. So weird. It's not even scary, it's just weird. She's sitting in the garden, everything's fine. Clone dad is gone, real dad is back. And daffodils, the flower, there's a whole bunch of them. They all start talking to her, and they start telling her that they're her father. So there's the first daffodil like, I'm your father, look, me, I'm your father. And the other one's like, no, 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 I'm your father, and so on. So it's creepy, not that bad, but it's just more weird. It's a really, really weird way to end that book off. The title might sound like Stay Out of the Basement, but number 2 goes to I Live in Your Basement. Stay Out of the Basement is one of my all-time favorite books. It's in my top 10 favorite Goosebumps books videos, so you should definitely check it out and see why I enjoyed this book so much. But this book's about a boy named Marco. He has an injury at school, and he starts hallucinating, and he gets a strange call from a boy called Keith, who says he lives in Marco's basement. A whole bunch of weird stuff starts happening to Marco, and he keeps waking up from different dreams into different realities. So like, he's waking up from a dream, and then he's in a different reality. It's extremely weird. Throughout the book, you want to figure out if he's hallucinating, if it's a brain injury, if it's reality, if it's some sort of monster putting him through this, like messing with his head, messing with what he sees. Or, yeah, you just really want to find out. And here's the twist, and here is the ending of the book, and you figure out why. Spoiler alert, I already gave it, but here's another one. The entire book is a dream that Keith, who is actually a monster, is having. So the person that called Marco in the beginning and was messing with Marco the whole time, kept telling him, I live in your basement, this and that. The thing on the cover was dreaming, and this story is about this dream. This is utter madness, L Stine. Madness. Coming in at the number 1 spot is Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Welcome to Camp Nightmare made it to my top 10 favorite Goosebumps books list because of the weird twist ending. That's why it's number 1 on this list. I really love the ending. It's like the author L Stine threw me a curveball. I didn't catch it. It smacked me in the face, and yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about this twist ending. It just really, it was out of this world. If you already know the twist ending, you get it? Out of this world? Okay. The book's about Billy. He goes to camp with a whole bunch of other guys. It's their first time at camp. There's a forbidden bunk. There's nothing significant about the forbidden bunk. Pretty much throughout the whole book, it's the same camp things happening. Kids are disappearing, there's some monster about, just the typical camp stuff. The adults, they don't care. Uncle Sal, he doesn't care. He denies of kids ever being there. A kid disappears, he's like, nope, they were never here. There's Larry, this handsome looking dude. No, I'm joking. I hate Larry. You're not a handsome looking dude. You're probably the most annoying dude ever, and that face is just hilarious, Larry. But yeah, there's Larry too. Larry's a bit of an a-hole. I don't want to swear, you know, but you know what I mean. He's really mean. And yeah, progressing to the end of the story, it turns out that this camp was testing grounds to test Billy. You see Billy's there with Saber, the fake monster, and they're testing to see if Billy, because his parents are scientists, they're astronaut scientists, which are the same thing, kinda. His parents are going to Earth. Ta-da! Out of this world, Earth. Now you get my joke. But yeah, they're going to Earth, and they need to test Billy to make sure he can survive on Earth. So they've set up this camp so they can figure out how good he is out of the scenarios of Earth. So it's really weird. It's kind of hard to explain because they're humans traveling to Earth, and Earth is in their backyard. They could see Earth. So if we're looking from Earth, we'd be able to see them. But let's not get all technical. It's a really weird story. One of my favorite stories, but then the twist ending is definitely my favorite. So that's why it's so high up on my list. Well, there you guys have it. That's my top 10 weirdest Goosebumps twist endings. That's a long title. I'm going to shorten the title a bit, but you guys get it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know I've been posted in a while. You know, life life gets busy sometimes with school, with work, with family. So I have a lot of things on my plate right now. I'm gonna try to upload another video mid-April around that time. So keep looking out. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like the video and share. And if I missed any top 10 or if I missed any twist endings that you thought should be on this list, comment below. I'd love to hear what you guys think and which ones you think are the weirdest twist endings ever. Alright guys, have a great day. Goosebumps Guy is out.